Right now by Minnesota Senator and Democratic presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar. Senator, thank you for joining us. You're going to have to be our reader tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
Has something changed that Mitch says doing nothing is unacceptable? Is that something new from him?
You know, I think for a while we thought that these orders, or as he called them, red flags, would be something that might move through. But I don't think that that's enough. And if that's what he means, no, that's not enough. And what I really didn't like is when I heard him say people will just try to score points. I mean, seriously, we lost 9 people in Dayton. We lost over 20 people in El Paso. And that's how he's thinking. What I think is we have background check legislation that's sensible, picked up some Republican votes in the House, that is sitting at his doorstep. We have a bill that would help with the wait time, so there could be better assessments of risk.
Yeah.
And then we also have another bill that passed the House on closing the boyfriend loophole. So there are 3 bills that are right there that we could pass in a day. This is not, and I would, of course, prefer to do magazine limits and the assault weapon ban and all kinds of other things. But at least we could get that done and then move on to those other things. And so I don't think this is scoring points. I think there's something right in front of him, and it's on his doorstep.
Trump's strategy has been, when the heat's on, as it is now, right now, these days ahead, maybe another week or 2 weeks, the heat's on guns and availability of guns to people that shouldn't have them. He always says something like, well, we'll do something, blah, blah, blah. And then when the heat's off, he does nothing. He seems to follow this pattern. He knows the pattern of public interest, and he exploits it to do nothing.
He does.
This time, you're good.
And it is the most cynical thing. When you think about those ordinary people, the courage they showed, the extraordinary courage in the Walmart where the mom protects her baby and gets killed, but her baby lives, or the veteran getting people out of there. Unbelievable courage. The first responders, the police in Dayton that get there in a minute, could have been so much worse. And yet, he's still talking to the NRA. He's still afraid of them. And I sat across from him after Parkland and wrote down 9 times he said he wanted to see background checks. We put a video on my Twitter feed of it. 9 times he said this. You can watch it. He said it. But what happens? He then goes and meets with the NRA the next day, and he folds. And so there's a pattern of this. You're exactly right. When the moment's hot and the cameras are on, he acts like he's going to be reasonable. He could call Mitch McConnell tomorrow and get the Senate back in session to get this done. Okay. He could publicly say, I call on the Republican senators to vote for this background check bill and get it done. Come on, we all know that. So he is just as responsible as Mitch McConnell.
Well, after the terrible shooting at Parkland down in Florida, he made fun of senators and congresspeople for being afraid of the NRA. Look, is he afraid of the NRA? Is this president afraid of them? Wayne LaPierre and that lot.
Yes, he is. And that's, yes, I was at that meeting. And when he said that, he was there. He said that that's what was going on, that people get concerned about them. Oh, they're afraid. This is the kind of thing he says. And people have to realize that right now what's at stake is people's lives. That guy in Dayton got that military-style weapon, huge magazine capacity, and he used that in 30 seconds. He killed 9 people. The vast majority of Americans think that is not okay, far from okay. And also a great number of hunters at least want to see the background checks put in place. And I'm out of here in Iowa on a 20-county tour in Robbins, Iowa right now. And I can tell you, people are coming up to me all the time, not just Democrats. People are coming up to me in these small towns saying they want to see it change. And that's what's happened since Parkland. That's why they elected 2 great new women Congress members out of Iowa. Okay. And they went and supported that background check bill. So the sea and the tide is changing, and Mitch McConnell is on the opposite side here of history. And so if he's not call us back, history will tell him differently.
You know, Senator, I've known you a long time, and I think your book title is very apropos to Iowa because you are the senator from next door. You are from Minnesota, which is right there on top of Iowa. Anyway, I hope you have a nice weekend with those 20 counties. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator Amy Klobuchar. By the way, up next.